about how spirituality is not accumulative. Slowly come out from your meditation. Namaste, everybody. Welcome to Beam Meditation Group in Germany. Today's subject is about spirituality is not accumulative. Sometimes people think that if we set for meditation for, say, for example, 1 hour today, and then again 1 hour for tomorrow. So after a while, because we have piled up about 1,000 hours or 100 hours or whatever hours, people think that they are progressing on the path of spirituality. And after a while, after a few years even, they would say or they would think that they haven't reached their goal. They haven't realized yet. And some people would fall out. So is this spirituality accumulative or not? If we start piling up hours or minutes or things we do, would that count towards the realization? Being religious is something else, and being spiritual is something else. Because our mind is so much programmed in a way that we always think that if we pile up hours of meditation, then day will come, or the moment will come. Because when you see in the religion, those who are following the sects or the religion, what they do? They start fasting. They are eating 3 times a day, then they would stop once, and then they would eat twice a day, and then after a while they will just eat once a day. And then they will go on juice only or water only, and after that, just on air, they will start fasting. So gradually, they have achieved the state of fasting without having any food or water. And since ages, we are being told that do something good, do something good. So we are collecting virtues. We are cultivating ourselves into a virtuous person. And that happens gradually. You forgive somebody today once, then tomorrow you forgive two people. And after a while, you keep forgiving people. And then you always forgive everybody and anything. So you have achieved the forgiveness gradually. When we cultivate something, it means that we accept we are not that. I want to be a kind person. I want to be a sympathetic person. I want to be a very good person. It means that I lack something. And I want to achieve something. I accept that I am not that. And that is why I have to do these things to be that. Cultivation is the path of worldly goodness or religiousness. Cultivation is not the path or not the way of spirituality. You do not become spiritual gradually. The moment just comes. The hours do not count. Days and weeks and months and years, they do not count. Because spirituality is only in one moment, only in 1 second. Because it only requires the intensity, the density of silence. We are actually going through so much noises all around. When we say that I did this thing, I sat for 3 hours yesterday, that was in past. We try to carry it forward, we try to actually bring it forward, just like an accountant or bookkeeper does, carry forward or brought forward. So we try to bring forward past into today to get something tomorrow. And that is exactly opposite of spirituality. In spirituality, there is no past. In spirituality, there is no future. In fact, there is no such thing as future. Future only arrives as present. Future is only in our imagination. In spirituality, there is no past. In spirituality, there is no future because in spirituality, there is no mind. You do not bring forward anything from the past. You cannot carry it forward towards the future or so-called future. Spirituality is just being in the present. You do not pile up anything. If that particular moment becomes so intense, so dense, that there remains nothing at all, you enter into total emptiness. You enter into total void, total silence. Learning doesn't help in spirituality. Words, thoughts, any kind of thinking, they do not help in spirituality. Because whatever we are doing, one has to be in that particular moment. Here and now. And that is spirituality. So first of all, one has to unlearn everything. What is the meaning of unlearning everything? Simple. No recollection of the past. No bring forward of the past. No imagination of the future. No expectation. Just in the present. Because when we learn something without any intention, everything goes into our subconscious mind. Everything goes into our subconscious brain. 11 million bits enter into our brain every minute. Now, scientists say that 8 bits, they make one letter, like A, B, C, D. So one letter, one character requires 8 bits. So 11 billion bits of information goes into our subconscious brain every minute. That means that if you write a sentence of 1 million letters or 1 million characters, that much information goes into our subconscious brain every minute. Since our brain is fully formed at the age of 5 months in our mother's womb. But our conscious brain can only process 50 bits per minute. So 10,999,950 bits of information goes into our subconscious brain. And that actually creates and makes our imagination, our expectation, our hallucination. And how do we unlearn that? It's impossible. Because our conscious brain cannot process more than 50 bits per minute. So how do we unlearn all those billions and billions of pages our subconscious brain is learning every day? By simply staying in the present. If we stay in the present, in the moment, and if that moment becomes so dense, just like Eckhart Tolle, he wasn't meditating since so many years or weeks or months or ages or maybe births, no, nothing. But the moment of pain struck him so hard and he became so engrossed in that pain, that painful moment. He entered into emptiness, into the void, into nothingness. And that nothingness gives the experience of spirituality, of the realization. So, if we keep notes about what we have done yesterday and day before and how many hours we sat for and how many hours we'll be sitting for, all those piling up is not spirituality. One has to be in the moment. We sit in the meditation, for example, and we turn on the music, we dim the light, atmosphere is nice, warm and cozy, or cool and cozy, depending on the country we are in. It's early morning time, and you are just actually sitting for meditation. You sat there, and then you realize you forgot to turn off the stove. You put milk on that gas, and milk is now boiling and spilling over. So you just will get up and run to turn off that hob or the gas. Now, you were in the meditation, but when you got up and ran, were you there? Were you in that running or getting up or turning off the gas? In every single moment, when we are there, in the present moment, one day that moment will become so dense, so intense. And that moment, only that moment, will take you to the pinnacles of realization. And that is why spirituality is not accumulative. Whether you have started meditation today, you could be realized within the next moment. And if someone is meditating since 50 years, but still that person would not have realized. Why is that? Because intensity, the density is not there. One has to be there in the moment. Sometimes we think about higher self, we think about so much positive thoughts and thinking and so many crosses and checks. Sometimes we think about virtues and characteristics, and we think that if we get all those virtues and positive thoughts, it would be helpful to us. Yes, definitely it will help us to live our life. But for the spirituality, there's only one thing, and that is the emptiness. That is the void. That is the absolute silence. No noise, no sound, no expectation, no brought forward items, no items to carry forward. Just this moment. And the real meaning of sati. Sati was the word for the meditation. In beingness, in the being, in the present, now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, not a moment after, but just pure now, the real now, in here. And if that moment becomes so dense and intense, that would actually make somebody like a Valmiki, who was a robber, and he was killing and robbing everybody. So Sage told him, just go and ask your family, then do they actually approve your actions? And will they be the partners of your sin, partners in your crime? So he went to his family and asked his wife and his children. And they simply said, because it is your responsibility to feed us. We don't care what you do, but whatever you are doing is up to you. If you are doing good things, then good for you. If you are bad things, it is bad for you. We are not the partners in your crime. And he was shocked. And that shock turned his life. And he just sat there. And a moment came and he realized. So no matter whatever, whoever one is, everybody just needs that particular intense and dense moment. And that moment gives the experience of realization. No matter how much or how many hours have you accumulated or not, they do not count. Only a moment in the present, in here, and in now that counts. Thank you very much. Please unmute yourself and share your wisdom. Thank you.
Ilima here.
Hello.
Hello. So, thank you so much for this wonderful wisdom. I think there's a lot of depth when you're speaking, and I'm really trying to understand, because whatever concepts that I know, I always think of learning. Of course, apart from being in the present moment, I always think of, okay, I'm learning, and this is like straight into my head, that, yeah, there is nothing except being in the present. And yes, I think I also really need that depth to understand each and every word from where you are coming from, and that's where I started to resonate when I try to understand, sir. Thank you so much for putting it in such a beautiful words. Yeah, thanks to you. So, my dear friends, anyone wants to share anything? Yes, Madhavi, please.
Firstly, thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful meditation. And also, it's a beautiful session on the accumulation. I would like to ask one more time. What is exactly you mean by accumulation? I understood the concept that we have to be in the being, not to think about the past, or as you said, that you cannot dwell into that. But what does it exactly mean by accumulating? What am I doing in like accumulating myself?
Sometimes we think that, and normally we always think that practice makes a man perfect. But that is not true for spirituality. It could be and is good for living our life or in religions, but for spirituality, there is no such thing as practice. Sometimes what happens that sometimes people think that because we are meditating for this many hours a day or so, we are accumulating some kind of practice. We are gathering or collecting some kind of intensity. And if we keep continued in this way, so one day will come that person would become, or person would realize. That's what sometimes we think. But in spirituality, when we say that I want to realize, it simply means that we have accepted that we lack something. And the fundamental and the first step of spirituality is very simple. Like in Upanishad it says, Tattva Masi, you are that. Or Aham Brahmasmi, I am the ultimate or the absolute or the Brahma. That is the stepping stone and the last stone as well. There are no steps at all. Just one simple Tattva, Tat Tvam Asi in Sanskrit. It means you are that. Simple 3 words, and that's it. So when we say that we need to achieve something, I want to be like this, or I want to be realized, I want to achieve, I want to reach somewhere. So we have created the separation. And I do not have this kind of virtues or characteristics. And I want to cultivate them, I want to achieve them. I am here not fulfilled. I am incomplete. And I want to make myself complete. It simply means that you are dividing your existence in two or more. And where there is division, there is separation. And where there is separation, it simply means there is ignorance. Ignorance could be of ego or of anything. So, accumulation in spirituality does not work and will not work because the fundamental stepping stone in spirituality is to believe that you are complete, you are wholesome, you are absolutely purna, fulfilled. Or you can also say you are shunyam, means simply emptiness, void, or nothingness. Why it is nothingness? Because there remains nothing. Not even you, not even me, not even our thoughts. There remains nothing whatsoever. And that is why Buddha called it shunyam, or the void, or the emptiness. And that is the first step, and that is the last step. So when I say accumulation, it simply means that if we try to cultivate more and more virtues or more and more practice of sitting in the meditation, one will become habituated. Habituation is different than being. One has to be in the present, and when one is in the present, it's a being, not habituating. Otherwise, it's a 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whatever time it is, and we do this practice. After that, we live our life, but in every single moment, we have to be there, and that is the spirituality.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, so you mean to say that I should not define it then? I should not have a goal saying that I have to become like this or I have to be that tomorrow. After all, practicing of this thing, I'm not going to achieve anything. I just need to be the way I am and just acceptance and just be as I am now at the moment. That's it.
Because you are that, isn't it?
But we cannot convince ourselves like, I am that. But we are now trying to chase, or we are trying to do the activities every day that, okay, I need to reach, or I need to have that, or I need to. So in that we are accumulating everything instead of being that in that moment and be in that present. Instead of that, we are just, okay, I have to do this and this and this and this for the day, and I complete it, and I do the meditation to achieve this so that I become emptiness. But right away at this moment, yeah, okay, I understood.
So when you say, I will become or become like this, it simply means that
Accumulating it.
you will become, you go into future then.
Yes, yeah.
Expectation or desire is ignorance, and that is unspiritual. So that is why the simple, if we understand the principle of oneness, everybody has preached that, including Patriji, and especially the oneness. What does it mean? Oneness means. Oneness means there is no second, there is no other, and you are that. So when we set some kind of goals and when we set some kind of timetable, that is habituation. It's like, when people get married, wife and husband, initially they have romance between them, and gradually they become habituated. They cannot live without each other, and they think that it is love, but actually it is habituation, because you have now habit to have him or her by you. Likewise, when we actually set this timetable, or we just follow the timetable, and in between the time we just forget it or we do not follow that, it simply means that we are becoming habituated. Spirituality means in every single moment, whatever we do, wherever we do, we should be there. And by doing that, one moment would come, or in one moment, some person will become so intense and so dense that there would be nothing left there. That would be simply the emptiness or the void. And that void or that emptiness gives the experience or gives the actual realization. I'm not saying that it gives, but you experience the experience. And after that, there are no words to actually even talk about the experience, because for you or for one who has realized, there will be no other. So he or she would not be saying that I have experienced this or that. And that is why wherever you actually read in any books of any scripture, of any spiritual person who has realized, they would actually tell you, or they will try to describe his unto certain level. But beyond that, there are no words. It's only experience. So accumulation simply means just piling up like religion. That is not about spirituality. In spirituality, it simply means to accept that you are that, fulfill, or the void, whatever words you want to use, and you do not have to achieve anything. So when we do not have to achieve anything, then there will be no race. We will be not running after something. Running after something simply means that we are actually waiting for the future. And in spirituality, there is no future, there is no past, so only this moment.
Thank you very much, sir. It's beautifully explained. Yeah, got the concept. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. This is Lakshmi. I'm connecting from USA. Yesterday was the first time when I connected to Kinnari. It's your morning today, actually. Kinnari Garu's session, and now this to your session, and it was great. The guided meditation music was good, and also the points that you mentioned are really I thoroughly enjoyed. And also to Madhavi's question, you mentioned that accumulative is like spirituality is not accumulative. What I understood is that if we sit 1 hour for every day, it doesn't mean like each day it's a different experience, and each day we have to live in that moment. Like whenever we sit for the not even day, like whenever we sit for meditation, it is that moment that we have to enjoy, that we have to observe, that we have to live in that what do you call live in that eruka, they say in Telugu. Like I don't know what is the right word for that in English, but yeah, we have to live that moment. Consciousness, right? Thank you. Yeah, so that awareness, and also that will also make us part of that Tattvamasi, which means you are that one with the universe, oneness, that oneness. So that is what I understood.
Yes, definitely that is right. And when we say that when someone sits for meditation for whatever time, and during that time, if that person tries to be in that particular moment, that's fine. But it does not stop there. Every moment we live our life, and whatever we do, whether you are walking or eating or drinking or writing or whatever we do,
right,
in every moment, one has to be there in whatever we are doing. For example, if we are eating something, we are having our dinner, and what happens that we keep eating, but we do not realize the real taste of that food.
Yeah, true, very true.
Somebody would ask you, how is this vegetables or chapati or the sweet balls or whatever? Then what we do normally do, okay, let me again retest it, and then I will let you know how fine or bad we have cooked. Why is that? Because when we were eating, we were not there.
Yeah.
So in every single moment of our life, if you are walking, then you must be observing your steps. But what we normally do that even if we are hearing, listening to something, so we listen, but then our mind will be running around somewhere else. We are not there. And that is why one has to live every single moment. And that practice can be achieved anywhere, when you are traveling or you are talking, you are eating, you are working, you are walking, you are running, or whatever. That moment, in that moment, one should be there. If we just actually sit for meditation for whatever time, and after that, we do not have the continuation of that being in the present. And if we thought that, right, I have sat for 3 hours today, and I will be sitting 3 hours for tomorrow, and I will be doing this thing forever until I realize. So until I realize the truth. But what about those 21 hours missing?
Yeah, very true.
So there is no constant thread going on in our conscious mind. And that is why when we say that if we just count the hours or whatever, then that will not be sufficient in a way that it will give us some kind of solace or some kind of comfort that, okay, fine, we are not doing anything bad, we are doing good. But for realization, the thread should be continued every single.
Yeah,
And
got
to
it.
achieve that, we have to be there in every moment what we do.
Yeah, also this is very true, sir. And I happened to see one of Patriji's videos, and in that he mentioned like when he eats food, right, he cannot eat the food that is made by a non-meditator. He will know the taste of it immediately, is what he mentioned. I mean, we generally say mindful eating, right? So we don't do it mindfully. These days, that word we hear many times of mindful eating, mindful walking, but we don't do it that way. That's why I think that is what it is about. Spirituality is we have to live in every moment that we do, not just sitting for meditation. It's the eating that Patriji mentioned, that when he eats, he can sense that this food is not made by a meditator, and he usually eats the food that is made by a meditator because the thoughts also will be meditative when they cook the food.
Yeah. The mindful, the word mindful, yeah, that is I mean, that word was coined by Rhys Davids in 1890 or so. First time he was a Buddhist scholar, and the actual word he was trying to translate was sati. I just mentioned this wisdom sharing. Sati is Sanskrit word of seventh case, and is a singular word, and it only means
Okay.
being, in the being. That is the
Oh,
real meaning, in the being. But he could not
nice.
understand the exact essence of that word sati, and so he tried to actually first put the thought After a few years, he realized that that is not the right word. And in 1910, he actually come up with this word, mindful.
Wow, nice.
And that is why I'm using the word the mindful. But the real meaning is in the being. And that real meaning of in the being was coined in 1980, 1979. One of the doctors in America who started MBSR, which is Mindfulness Based Stress Reduction Program, MBSR. And then he dropped the word Buddha and he disconnected himself from Buddhism, but he actually accepted all the principles preached by Buddha. So mindfulness simply means in the being, or living in the being in the present, being in the moment.
Sure.
Thank you very much, everybody. Nilimaji, I think, shall we conclude this session? Or?
Yes.
Thank you. This is Varna.
Hi.
Beautiful, beautiful session, sir. I exactly see what you're trying to say, and I recently even it just came into my mind, and I noticed that sometimes you feel so joyful in your heart, and then when I said I'm not joy, then my mind became so quiet, that went into full conscious level, because you're not that, you're not this. So that neti concept by what is that, guru, right? So that neti concept, when we use
Neti means this is not like that. Yeah, okay.
the spirituality that you are mentioning. So that day it was like my mind was like went out of analytical mind or logical mind. It was like so pure. Whatever I'm doing, I was just doing in that moment. Then I thought, like, why I'm different today? Because that, I think I contemplated myself that I'm not this one. I'm not joy. I'm not happy. Earlier, I used to be like cling to that. Wow, I'm happy, having so joy in my heart, and that feeling or emotion. But when I come out of everything, nothing, then that is the state, and then that will lead to the present moment. Whatever we do.
Yes. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Vijayji. I know for that, I think we need a lot of practice and all, but definitely that is the ultimate thing. And we don't depend on music. Sometimes we need music to go into meditation, and but I think initial stage we need that supporting tools. But as we move progress, I think we can reach to the state that you're talking about, the spirituality.
One can use
any. That's my. Yes, sir.
One can use any instruments or tools or whatever the external help that would help. But when one actually becomes habituated, or one is struck with those kind of external help, then it is impossible for that person to actually move forward. And second thing you have mentioned about joy, or you are not this neti, I am not this, I am not that. Because whenever, for example, somebody is very happy, it simply means that the sadness is hiding under the other side of the coin. Happiness or sadness, there are two sides of the coin. And at this moment, say for example, the happiness side of coin is shining, but under that there is sadness. So duality is there. And when one goes beyond duality, not happy and not sad. And that moment actually makes a person an observer or a drashta or a witness. And in that moment of witness, you will be different. You will be
Yes, sir. Exactly. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's what exactly I noticed the other day. So true. So you come out of that duality and you don't use any analytical. You just be doing everything as normal, but it's just you're not. You don't use your senses, sense organs. Something. It was so pleasant through the day. So yeah, you come out of that duality. Otherwise, we'll be like we like to stay in a happy moment, a joy moment, and then when something happens, then again you cling into that. So when you don't have this one, then you don't have definitely that other side. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Swarnaji.
So thank you.
Yeah, he said thank you. Maybe sir's voice is a bit low.
Okay, thank you, Nilima.
Yeah, thank you so much. I see that wonderful wisdom sharings are going on. Very happy for the discussions. Sir, with your permission, I do have a small request. Shall I go ahead?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, dear friends, tomorrow Madhu and Ram are connecting from India. For the tomorrow's evening session, they are going to share about their entire India trip experiences, that their journey to Himalayas, their experiences at Babaji Cave, and their experiences at Pyramid Valley, and also in Kartal at the Patriji Dhyana Mahayajnam, and also at the Cosmic Valley. They have numerous things to share. So please do connect for tomorrow's evening session, and please be on time. We'll be having like 10 minutes of meditation followed with their experience sharing, and we'll do again the meditation later. So please be on time, my dear friends, for tomorrow. So thank you all. I'll also share the details in the group as well. So thank you, Vijay sir.
Thank you. Namaste, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Nilima. Thank you for the tomorrow's session as well. We'll be there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you all. Have a lovely time. Namaste.